Last week, House Republicans held a field hearing here in the city on a Manhattan DA Alvin Bragg's crime policies. One of those people who testified and called for Bragg's removal was Queens Democratic Councilman Bob Holden, who is joining me now. So, Councilman, good to see you. Thanks for being here on Picks and Politics.
My pleasure.
So let's talk about this, right? You testified saying that you've never seen crime this bad in your 71 years of living in New York City, right? So what makes today...
Well, I didn't say crime. I said it's general lawlessness. Crime was much worse in the 80s and 90s, but it's
okay, so
not as bad now, but it's the lawlessness.
So what's making the lawlessness, in your opinion, so bad today that wasn't, say, in the late 80s, early 90s?
There's a number of reasons. The bail reform, discovery reform, and also the war on police. Nobody fears the police. They'll run. And, you know, when Bragg said, I'm not going to really prosecute resisting arrest. That was one of the categories. Mm-hmm. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine a district attorney saying to people, you can resist arrest because I'm not going to prosecute it?
To be clear then, so just so I get you on the record here, you don't believe that crime is worse today than it was in the 90s? Because that seemed to be a misconception then from your testimony.
Well, some of the left-leaning people were doing that. They were changing my words.
Okay.
And I said general lawlessness on the streets. We see that. Any New Yorker does. My constituents do. Mm-hmm. I spoke to 200 people last night. They said the same. Everybody agrees. We've never seen people riding mopeds and motorcycles on the sidewalk. We've never seen people driving a car without a license plate. We've never seen people in the videos that we're seeing just resisting arrest. Mm-hmm. I haven't seen that in New York City.
So let's talk about this. In an interview with City and State, you said your appearance had nothing to do with politics and that the pushback you've been getting from Democrats was misconstrued, right? So what do you say to those who are thinking that the GOP was using this as retaliation for DA Alvin Bragg going after the former president?
Again, I don't care about Donald Trump. I don't care. I'm trying to really bring to the attention of everyone that we're headed in the wrong direction in New York City and Manhattan especially. If you see, it's magnified in Manhattan. But nobody can deny that there's just mayhem in our streets where people do as they please. You could just walk down any street, in my district also. I've never seen this.
So let's talk about your district then, right? Because I know you've already called for DA Alvin Bragg to resign or be removed from office, right? But you are a Queens council member. So what do you think of the Queens district attorney and how she's doing, Melinda Katz? Is she doing an appropriate job?
She's doing an appropriate job, but it's, again, there's also other elements here, like I said, bail reform and discovery laws, that makes it tough to put anybody away. I got precinct captains telling me that we keep rearresting the same person for car theft, and they're out. For property crime, nobody's going to jail.
So that's the law that has to be fixed in Albany, right? That's a different topic. So what is, say, DA Katz doing differently than what DA Bragg is doing, that she should remain in office and he shouldn't?
Well, again, you know, I'm close to her. I talk to her often, and I tell her that we need people to go to jail, and she's trying, but under the bail reform, it's a little different. But
aren't they both under the same laws?
They're under the same thing, but when you announced that I'm not going to prosecute, resisting arrest, Katz hasn't said that. I'm not going to prosecute, low-level knife-point robberies, which I have a gas station owner in my district. He owns 4 gas stations. He says a good day is when I don't get held up. Mm-hmm. He said I lose $3,000 a day because of just people stealing from the shelves, holding up the gas station at knife point or gun point. Mm-hmm. The same individuals. So who's, again, it's bail reform, but when you have this general lawlessness that we're seeing in the streets, and Alvin Bragg then is taking us to another level, he's actually saying, I'm not going to, you could jump the turnstiles. Mm-hmm.
So all the other DAs are okay in your opinion?
I didn't say that. I don't know. I'm just
trying to figure out why you're zeroing in specifically on Manhattan when you represent Queens.
Well, again, it spills over.
Yeah.
The crimes can go to my district. It goes to Manhattan. It's all Bragg. I said from the beginning, when you announce your day one member, I'm not going to do this, this, and this, and this. What is this? It's open season on law-abiding citizens. Then, we can't. When I went through this, by the way, we went through in 1990. We had high crime in the city under David Dinkins, and he hired Bill Bratton. Yep. They instituted the broken windows theory. Smaller crimes started. They started prosecuting that, just like fare evasion, graffiti. They started, and guess what? Crime started to go down.
So when you look, followed you very closely. Some of the statements you've made recently are to elect leaders who will do something about crime, which is why you said you supported Lee Zeldin over Kathy Hochul, because you felt he was going to do something about crime. When you were looking at the broader scope of things moving forward, right, there are two big elections that people are paying close attention to, one being the presidential race. Would you support President Biden for re-election?
Again, I don't know yet. I have to see. I'm not impressed with him so far. I think we're headed in the wrong direction on a number of issues. The migrant issue, obviously, is a big thing, because that's going to cost all New York City taxpayers a lot of services like sanitation, police, fire. We're going to see every agency cut because of the migrant crisis, and Biden hasn't done anything on that. So I'm certainly not going to support him if the election was tomorrow.
Okay, and if the election was tomorrow, you once supported George Santos, and he has now announced he's going to run for re-election. Would you support George Santos again?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely, because of the situation that unfolded.
Nobody knew that. Again, I don't have a crystal ball.
Right.
He put out information. He spoke to me. He said, I'm going to do this, this, and that, and I believe in law and order, and I believe in trying to get the city back on its feet.
Good. All right, Councilman, I appreciate you being here, Councilman.
Thanks.
Welcome back anytime right here on Picks on
Thank you so
Politics,
much.
all right?